Howdy, folks, and welcome back to Concilium Watch. I'm Austin, and on this episode of Army Builder Briefings, we are going to be making lists for the newest Ariadne sectorial, Kosmoflot. Kosmoflot plays a lot like Caledonia, but on steroids. They have all the cool characters and all the high-powered slugs that you could ever want. Now, some of the issues that you're going to run into when making lists for Kosmoflot is they are very character-centric. For example, the only full core fire team you can have is the Rockets, where the availability of the Frontovix and Scots Guards are only 4, making you have to go grab a wild card to fill out that fully 5-man link team, and that usually is going to involve characters. Now, to review the 5 things that you do typically need in a sectorial army list is a core fire team for link team bonuses, midfield specialists to push buttons and complete objectives, hit pieces, units with high burst weapons for active turn shooting, defensive pieces, units that are mainly going to be put on ARO duty or to be midfield roadblocks, and order monkeys, because the more orders you have, the more you can do. And all of these lists will be down in the description. So without further ado, let's get started. All right, we're in Army 7. We go to Ariadne, my favorite faction of all. And we're going to roll down here to the last one, to Kosmoflot. All right, now the very first thing that we are going to need is going to be a core fire team. And we are going to make a rocket fire team to begin. So let's go to our as aforementioned rockets. These guys are nothing to write home about. These are your order monkeys. They are pretty much Caledonian volunteers, but at metro prices. So we are going to grab the lieutenant with the submachine gun, grenades, and decharges for 9 points. We're going to grab a regular chain rifle light shotgun for 8 points, and we're going to grab a paramedic with submachine gun, grenades, and a med kit. So there's the basis for your fire team, but we are going to need an active turn shooter for that fire team, and there is nothing better at all than the Unknown Ranger, which is almost a must-have for this sectorial. He is that good. Being able to have, because he has specialist, operative, and tactical awareness standard on him, so that's giving you another specialist for your link team and having the tactical awareness, being able to put another order into your fire team. We are going to be grabbing the AP Spitfire Chain Colt Heavy Pistol and T2 Close Combat Weapon for 47 points. That is the active turn shooter, but we also need a more long-range weapon to fill out this 5-man link team. So we are going to roll over here and go to the Volkalax Shock Troopers. Now, the Volkalax Shock Troopers cannot make any sort of link team of their own. These are the plug-and-play units of this sectorial because they are wild cards. Volkalax can be part of any fire team in this sectorial army, and Volkalax are, wow, so good. So good. Because they're essentially dog warriors that have been given a serum that was helped develop by the Nomads. But they're having an Arm 4 total immunity with 1 wound and no wound incapacitation missile launcher, which is the one that we are going to take, and that is my favorite Volkalax option, is absolutely terrifying to have a blast template in a fire team, especially having the total immunity. Total immunity missile launcher just shooting at you in a fully 5-man link team is absolutely terrifying. So we've got, there's your 5-man link team, adding 6 orders because of the Unknown Ranger's tactical awareness. There's your 5-man. All right, so we are going to need some defensive pieces to go with them to kind of help maintain Overwatch. Now, we are not bringing Wallace, so you might be thinking, oh, let's go grab the Catarans, but those are irregular. So we want some regular stuff to go in here, and I think that the Zenith 7 detachment are fantastic options for this because they get all the normal things that you usually get in camo tokens, except for the infiltration. They do not have infiltration. In lieu of that, they have Decoy 1, which puts another camo token within 8 inches when you deploy the Zenith 7, who will also be in camo. And we are going to grab 2 AP snipers, this very first one, for 28 points, 1 SWC. We're going to grab 2 of those because the availability is 2. Let's bring them both. So that's 4 camo tokens that start in your deployment zone, looking down sectors of fire, making your opponent wonder which one is the real one, and that's going to be covering down, and which one is just going to be, the decoy. But I like the Zenith 7s as an Overwatch piece. And moving on, we do need another big hit piece to go in here, and what everybody comes to Ariadne for are the werewolves. Well, we don't have werewolves like the traditional werewolves that the other sectorials have. Instead, we have a werebear. The Polaris Team Bear Pod, and they've got the Polaris Team, which has a handler and adding an extra order, or the Polaris Bear Pod that can come by himself. But we are going to grab the Polaris Team here because that's the Polaris controller adds an order, and the Polaris Bear Pod in that team is also a regular order. And what's cool about him is he's not impetuous. So he is and can gain cover. And Polaris Bear Pod does have armor 5. So in cover, having armor 8, being able to poke around a corner and shoot things with his +1 damage, +1 burst chain rifle. That's insane. Insane. Love it. Love it. And for only 32 points, it's a steal. It's a steal. Love the Polaris team. We're going to bring them to kind of be big old missiles and problems for your opponent, because the Polaris Bear Pod does have 6-4 movement and 2 wounds. And dogged, so 2.5 wounds, along with climbing plus. It's absolutely devastating, along with having CC attack +2 damage, and they are equipped with an AP close combat weapon or a trench hammer. So that's a damage 18 AP close combat weapon or a damage 18 double action with the trench hammer. You just got to be careful with that trench hammer because they are disposable 3, so you're only going to get 3 shots with the double action. But you get your choice of AP or double action, which is really nice. And the only other thing that we're going to bring in this first group here, because we have 9 orders and 1 tactical awareness because of Unknown Ranger, is we're going to go back to our rockets. And I really do like the Infiltration Camouflage 1-use rockets, and we're just going to bring the 10-point one with submachine gun, grenades, and decharges for 10 points. I think it's really useful to have another camo marker in your midfield to go along with your midfield specialist that we're going to be making in the second group, because these guys it's going to help them be like, okay, what is it? Along with having decharges, because if you happen to be running a mission like, say, looting and sabotaging, having another unit that has decharges on board is going to come in really handy. Or you may draw through your classified deck, drawing that mission where you have to be on your opponent's side of the field, see a piece of scenery, and put a decharge on it and make it explode. So having another unit with decharges, he's kind of a Swiss Army knife in that sense. He puts out a lot more uses for the 10 points that he provides. And right now, moving on, we need to make a new group because we've got the 10 in the first group. Is we need our midfield specialist. Now, the only midfield specialist in the sectorial, besides the Rockets, but they're not specialists, are going to be your First Highlanders SAS. Now, the new and improved First Highlanders SAS are ungodly good, and especially the 2 Fort Observers that we are going to be bringing, because they are loaded out with chain rifles, light shotguns, flash pulses, decharges, pistols, and an AP plus shock close combat weapon for 21 points. Insane. So they have the chain rifle if you want to be able to hit more units, or if you just don't want to shoot because of that abysmal BS-11, you can try to stop your opponent if you happen to be within close range to shoot and you want to challenge their role. They have the light shotgun letting you shoot on 17s, and they can even hit out to 24 inches on a Whip 13 with their flash pulse. And along having decharges, so there's another AP explosive decharge believe that's what that is. AP explosive on a decharge. Yeah, AP explosive on a decharge. I thought I was right. Or you have the AP plus shot close combat weapon. So they're really, really good, and they can do it all. I love the new SAS forward observers. So we're absolutely going to bring 2, and you're most likely going to be bringing at least those 2 in every single list. Moving on, we want something else. We have to bring the queen of the SAS, and that is Usha McNeil. Now, she has 2 profiles here, and you really can't go wrong with either one of them. You have an MSV option or a specialist operative option, and the only differences between them are the MSV option has regular grenades, where the specialist operative has decharges instead, but the specialist operative also has assault pistol plus 1 burst for 1 point more. You really can't go wrong with either one of them. It's going to depend on the mission that you're going to be running, on which one that you bring. For this in particular one, I am going to be bringing the specialist operative because that assault pistols is so much fun. So Usha, now there's another specialist for you to push buttons and another thing to really get into your opponent's butt and take things out using the assault pistols. And the only other things that we're going to bring to fill out this 15-man are the Varangian Guard. We're going to bring 2 of these. You're going to see 4 profiles here. There's only one. There is only one, and that is only available in Kosmoflot, is the 9-point chain rifle smoke grenade heavy pistol AP close combat weapon for 9 points. Everyone else does not have that option. You're the only ones that have availability to that option, so take them. So that is a good general list. Good general list for Kosmoflot. You got your 5-man link team, you got defensive pieces in the Zenith 7, you got your midfield specialist in the SAS, forward observers. Usha's also a specialist. Rocket's helping out the SASs. Varangian Guard, really, really good smoke throwers, being able to throw out smoke on 17s. And Bearpode is there to just demolish anything that happens to get in its way. Is a really good missile and a really good problem that your opponent is going to have to try to take on. But that is a good general list. Now, it's really easy from here, using this base, to automatically go for a hit list as well. And to go from the hit list from here, the only things that you have to do is we're going to go back to Usha. We're going to drop her, and we're going to grab the MSV1 option. Put her up here, and we're going to drop both of the Zenith 7s and the rocket. And now we're going to go grab the Equip Mirage 5, Margot and Dirac, and add them in to the list. And yep, that's how that's going to go. I call this the mullet list because you got a bear in the front and a wolf in the back, baby. That's what's happening. This is a wonderful list. I have played it on our channel, and I ended up coming to a draw. I did make some mistakes in that, but it was a lot of fun, and you're not going to be disappointed playing with this list. Is a really good hit list to play with, because you've got Usha, who's going to do Usha things, Polaris Bearpode's just running up the gut and destroying anything that gets in its way, and then you can drop Margot and Dirac in your enemy's deployment zone and just mess people up. Just mess them up. Having a wolf in your enemy's deployment zone is super fun. I love it, love it. This is a very high-powered hit list. All right, but moving on from these two, we're going to move on, and we need a button presser list. So let's trash this And let's make let's see, what do we want to do here? We want to show off Wallace a little bit, I think. So let's do that. Let's show off Wallace a little bit. So with this button presser list, we are going to go grab our big man, William Wallace, Lieutenant, who the new improved Wallace is astronomically just so good with his inspiring leadership and his immunity crit. Natural Born Warrior and Berserk +3, CC attack +1 damage. I love the brand new William Wallace. He is finally the warband that he was always meant to be. And I want to push him up the field and yeet him at someone. And this list will allow you to do so. All right, so we are going to go grab our Unknown Ranger because Unknown Ranger, and we are going to grab our AP Spitfire, Unknown Ranger. And let's grab our Volkalac. And we are going to grab the Volkalac missile launcher yet again. Now, what's interesting about William Wallace is he's not a wild card. He has a special fire team where he can only be a part of any fire team of Varangian Guard. So let's grab Varangian Guard, and we are going to grab our 9-point units for the Varangian Guard. This is a fantastic core fire team, because what this allows to do is allows the Unknown Ranger to do his own smoke trick, because Wallace with Fizz 14 and the Varangian Guard on Fizz 14, any of these three can now throw smoke with Link Team bonus and at good range within 8 inches are throwing 2 smoke grenades on 20s. So you can't miss. You can't miss unless you happen to be like going face to face with somebody and you roll worse. But it doesn't, like, if you're not being opposed at all, there's free smoke that's going to come onto the board that the Unknown Ranger can shoot through with his MSV1, which without any kind of cover or anything else, because you're going to get your Link Team and you're going to be in +3 range, ideally, he'll still be shooting on flats because of the smoke being -6 and through the MSV1. So he'll be shooting 5 shots on 13s in smoke. That's insane. And I love it, being able to do his own smoke trick. But that is your core fire team and being able to move up the board. Now, for the next, we are going to need our midfield specialist. So let's grab Usha McNeil, because Usha, let her do Usha things. We are going to bring the specialist operative yet again. And we are going to go grab our SASs, our 2 forward observers. I can't talk enough how good they are. And we need some... You want more button pressers? If you always wanted to have Ermin Dinos as regular because of Wallace's inspiring leadership, now you can. Because Ermin Dinos are now become regular because of William Wallace. There are 3 profiles here. There's only one. There's 3 profiles here, but there's only one, and that is the 8-point chain rifle decharge of smoke grenades, pistol, and AP close combat weapon for 8 points. Those are the only ones you're going to bring. We're going to bring 2 of them. And what's really cool here is they do have the deactivator, which is a really underrated piece of equipment. It really is. What the deactivator actually does is its ranges are 0 to 8 inches is +6, 8 to 16 is at +3. And within that, and it's got one more after that, but that's not important. What is important is if any piece of equipment if it's a mine, it's automatically going to come in as camoed. But once it's discovered, or a repeater, or a pitcher, any kind of deployable piece of equipment, if you were within range, within 16 inches on a +3 for the whip, which for the Ermin Dinos is 16, removes it off the board. It just removes it off the board. So that stops any hackers. If you can discover the mine, it automatically gets rid of the mine. It's really, really useful. And Ermin Dinos have booty along with the engineer, because Ermin Dinos are engineers. Ermin Dinos are fantastic for this. I love it, love it, love it, love it. But that is the end of the first group. Don't be intimidated like you're going to see up here in group 1 is going to say 8, 3, and 4, having the 4 impetuous. 2 of those impetuous are not there because the Varangian Guard are in the link team, so impetuous is not there. So you only have 2, and along with the Ermendinos, yes, it's going to say that they are irregular orders, but they are actually 100% regular because of Wallace. So you have 10 regular orders, 1 irregular order being the tactical awareness from the Unknown Ranger, and 2 impetuous orders from the Ermendinos because they are not linked. Moving on to your second group, we need more button pressers. We want all the button pressers in the world. And another good button presser for this is Pavel. Oh, Pavel Alexei McManus is super good being able to be in because he is specialist operative. He's got stealth. He's got natural born warrior. He is a jack of all trades. He can do it all. And having that Ohotnik is the Ohotnik is a low-powered sniper rifle. It doesn't have the same ranges. It doesn't have the same hit, except it can hit, being able to automatically be in the midfield because he doesn't have infiltration. He does have forward deployment 8 inches, but that's plenty of room to get an angle on something that you normally wouldn't be able to. So I really like Pavel for this list. So we're going to add Pavel. Then we're going to go to our rockets, and we are going to grab our 10-point rockets. We're going to grab 2 of them. The infiltration camouflage 1 use to help protect our SAS forward observers, and because decharges and grenades and submachine guns, because you can, if anything, you can just throw these guys into suppression and be roadblocks. And the only other thing that we're going to bring is we're going to go grab our Cataran, who is irregular, but now becomes regular because of William Wallace. And there's our Highlander Cataran, and you're going to always bring the T2 sniper rifle for 1 SWC and 23 points. There is your list. 3.5 SWC, 300 points. Don't be upset if you don't I can't get that full 6 SWC. You may not to a lot of the time. That's just kind of the thing that's playing with Ariadna as a whole. So don't be upset by that. This has plenty of firepower, plenty of button pressers, plenty of everything to do exactly what you need it to do. This is a good button presser list. Now, moving on, we're going to show one final list, and I think that it's possible to do. And what it is going to be a limited insertion list, because there are a lot of things in here that are expensive, along with having all the order monkeys that you have. But we need to show off one of these other core fire teams. And the one I'm going to show off is the Frontovix Separate Assault Battalion. What's really awesome about the Frontovix are, besides having courage, they have Harris, they have core, and mimetism -3. So being able to an entire fire team up with mimetism -3 is amazing. But on top of that, they have veteran, which means they're not going, if your lieutenant does go down, they are going to stay regular because they are veteran. Frontovix are really, really good core for this sectorial, and any TAC player will tell you that Frontovix rock. So we are going to bring that lieutenant option with the T2 rifle. They have all the T2 in the Frontovix. We are going to bring our Unknown Ranger with our AP Spitfire, because Unknown Ranger. We're going to go back to our Frontovix, and we're going to grab the AP Sniper Rifle with MSV1. Because if we happen to be going second, it's really nice to have a piece that can shoot out that far. But we are going to need a spare. Remember, we will need a spare. If you've been watching any of my videos from before, we are going to want a spare. For that spare is going to be a regular T2, and we are going to bring the paramedic. So there's your 5, and we're expecting the AP sniper rifle to go down. If he doesn't, fantastic. If he does, we need something to go in that, and I like to have, if I can find him, there he is, Caden First Strike Dawn. Caden is wonderful to have in any fire team because he is a wild card, just because he can be the CC specialist. So if you happen to be coming up to a camouflage CC specialist, like let's say Saito Togan, Caden can at least give him a run for his money. Having the natural born warrior, knocking out any of his martial arts, being able to use his own martial arts with his martial arts level 2, all of his CC attacks are AP. So an AP T2 close combat weapon, ridiculous. So there's that. There is your link team with the spare. And we're really just making First Strike Dawn the spare. You're going to start out with all of your Frontovix and the Unknown Ranger, and then if the AP Sniper Rifle does go down, if you happen to be going second, grab First Strike. If you happen to be going first, add First Strike and just keep the regular Frontovic T2 rifle for 23 points. Keep him as a spare and just leave him behind, and he can join the link afterwards. Moving on, we do need our midfield specialist, so let's go back to our SAS Forward Observers because they are just that good. And all right, so we've got 220 points and 1.5 SWC. We are going to talk about the biggest disappointment of Kosmoflot. We interrupt this regularly scheduled programming of, happiness, and I'm trying to be as happy as I can be about the biggest disappointment is the Cosmo Soldat. I'm not thrilled with the Cosmo Soldat. It is true. However, if you want to run a limited insertion, and it absolutely can, and it absolutely can work, is I like having the Cosmo Soldat with his size 2, 6 armor, 3 BTS. Yes, he is hackable. Yes, his dodge is 11, so shooting is like almost always going to be the best option. 1 wound, no wound incapacitation. We are going to be bringing the specialist operative portion. We are going to be bringing the specialist operative because he's got a T2 rifle plus 1 burst, so 4 shots on a T2 rifle. He's got a heavy flamethrower. He's got a Panzerfaust, so he can hit at all of the range bands. He can hit, except for the very, very farthest. He can hit at all of the range bands. And being armor 6, he's going to be really hard to take down. And being armor 9 in cover. And to duo with him, because he does have Fire Team Duo, we are going to bring a Volkalak. And we're going to bring the Volkalak Heavy Machine Gun. That way we do have a high purse weapon in that duo. Now what this is going to allow you to do is very efficient, is having the Cosmo Soldat with the T2 rifle being a specialist operative. That's another button pusher for you to have to complete objectives. And he is really good at backing up the Volkalak, having the total immunity, regular heavy machine gun, having that high burst weapon for 43 points with his chain cold plus 1 burst and grenades. I think that's a very effective duo to have, and I think it's important to have some sort of specialist in a duo if you're going to be running a duo at all. I would have taken the AP heavy shotgun, the AP heavy machine gun, plus 1 damage, not plus 1 burst to everyone's disappointment. But it still would be really good, but I just don't have the points for it. I just didn't have the points for it. to throw down there because we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 Frontovics, and we can't bring any more Frontovics except for at all for that 5-man link team. So we had to go grab another character, and so we grabbed First Strike Dawn, being the cheapest thing that could join that. And that's what we end up with. But we got 300 points, we got 3 SWC, and you got a lot of firepower here. You've got a ton of firepower here. So this would be really good for missions such as the Armory, because the Frontovics do have the T2 rifles, but also assault pistols. The SAS Forward Observers, you're going to put them wherever you need them to go, and they're going to do exactly what you need them to do because they are that good. And if you can get that Kosmoflot and the Volkolak into the room, like say the Armory, that would be really good as well, because they'll be just hard to dig out. But that's the limited insertion list for Kosmoflot, and I think it's very doable. If you did like the video, guys, make sure you hit that thumbs up, make sure you subscribe, and stay tuned. We've got a lot more videos to come out, and as soon as all of the models get released for your favorite sectorial, we will be doing an entire overview for them. So stay tuned, guys, and good job, CB. We're enjoying it, and we're enjoying you guys. Thanks a lot.